Hey everybody, I'm Chris Zukowski, the creator of How to Market a Game, and you're listening to Goddamn Gamecube.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Goddamn Gamecube. We're here in person at the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco. We've got a very unique industry guest here with us, Chris Zukowski. He is a video game marketing strategist and developer who is most well known for his platform, How to Market a Game. His data analysis of Steam games is frequently cited by the world's most prominent gaming news sites and is critically acclaimed by the indie game dev community. Chris, how we doing?
I am a fantastic. Thank you so much for having me in this wonderful studio. This is beautiful, this studio. Like the chandeliers.
Dude, they really hook it up. It's like we hair and makeup and catering and all that.
The catering is fantastic, folks. It's
unbelievable.
Oh, it's so good. The caviar alone.
Dude, I mean, you're worth it all day.
Oh, thank you.
So, all right, let's jump right in here. Were you always interested in games as a kid? How did you get into them? You've got a computer science background. What ignited your passion for games?
I don't know what's wrong with me, but it's always been. Like, my earliest memory was playing Hunt the Wumpus. Have you ever played Hunt the Wumpus?
No.
Oh, man, it's a classic. It's like very cited as one of the most fundamental game design games. Like,
sure.
Not a good game, though. Not a good game. It's one of those, it's like Moby Dick. You got to go through it. It's, it's not that good. Apparently, I've never read Moby Dick. But I remember there's this part when the Wumpus gets you, the screen would show these teeth biting the screen.
Oh, sure.
And I was so scared I ran from the screen. That's like my first horror game experience. Loved it. Hooked ever since. This is like 1984.
Okay. What was it on, if I could ask? How did you play
I
it?
can't remember I never remember that. It's a Texas Instruments.
Oh.
It was an Atari clone, basically.
Sure.
Do you know about the Texas? I can't remember what number it is, but it's a TI something.
Gotcha.
But they made all these clones of Atari games, and it's that was my first system.
Wow.
Yeah.
First time hearing about that game. That is interesting.
Oh, it is good. Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, yeah. Hunt the Wumpus. You better find it on the web.
Yeah, now I will. Okay, here we go. Let's talk about the how and why. You've been releasing games since around 2011. What led you on the path of game marketing and analytics? Was it strategizing for your own titles, studying your own successes and failures? And there is a follow-up to this. Go ahead.
All right. So no, it's all failures.
Amazing.
So no, really. So I made games. I always made games, but I never finished them. Like I started making games when I was probably like 15, 16, but they were all just like, they barely went anywhere. Like in other words, like I made Tetris, but I only finished like 4 of the Tetronimos. Like I only made 4 of the whatever, how many, like 6 or something. So I'd always just putter out and lose interest. But then when I turned 30, I was like, I am gonna make a game. And so I started making 2011 games, and then you learn and then finally, like, I was like, okay, I'm gonna make a Steam game. And I think that was like 2014, 2015.
Cool.
And it did not do well. It failed. And I was like, what the hell? This is a good game.
Can you give us the specifics, the title and all that?
Oh yeah, it's one screen platformer. It's a platformer that fits on one screen. You can check it out now. I think it's like under $1, something like that. And I was like, why? I worked so hard on this. And so I started doing the research.
Yeah.
And I just published the results of my research on a blog on gamedeveloper.com, but I also made my own howtomarketagame.com. And people started being more interested in my research than my actual games.
Okay.
So much so that I was like, what am I doing with this game thing? People just want to hear about my analysis. So it started out as just for myself, and then it just kind of got out of control.
Sure. Okay. So before we get into the nitty gritty, would you be able to give our audience some examples of games you have done marketing consulting with, or devs you've worked with? Titles our audience may know. I know maybe you can't, but if you can name a few.
Yeah, I'd say my most recent one, and I just saw they had a poster out there, was Crashlands 2.
Okay,
I did some analysis for them. They were getting ready to do in Steam. And so what I do with my analysis is people will come to me with a bunch of questions. They'll be like, hey, we're thinking of launching this and all this. And so I give them a breakdown on their like marketing plan and how they're going to go through all that stuff. So I'd say Crashlands 2 is my most recent one. And they would come up and we would kind of lay out what their opportunities are, what mistakes not to make. And then we can kind of see like, oh, if you hit these numbers, you're going to probably get this. If you don't hit these numbers, then that. So that's kind of what it means by a Steam strategist. And then I just hand it off to somebody else and then they take it from there.
Got you. Okay. All right, so we're gonna get into some nitty gritty here. Here we go.
I'm so gritty.
You are.
I'm deep
You're the
in the
grittiest fellow I've ever met.
I really.
This is going to be fun already. So something that I'm personally interested in is the localization of games, the localization of their product page into multiple languages. Do you have any hard data on this kind of stuff? If you're an American developer developing in English, what should be your next go-to languages? Is it dependent on genre?
Yes, you should definitely localize. And it does a little bit depend on the type of game you're making. But bar none, the one that I would recommend are first start with the Asian languages.
Sure.
Because a lot of the European languages, a lot of Europeans are comfortable enough with English to like make the leap if they don't speak it natively. So I would definitely do simplified Chinese, Japanese, Korean. That would be a start. And then I would go from there onto the other ones, like all the European languages. Just go through there. Russian and Brazilian are also not Brazilian, Portuguese, but Brazilian Portuguese specialized because they have a big audience. So those are the ones that I do. And I can't cite a very, like off the top of my head, I don't know, like, oh yes, 100% more sales or something like that. But it is critical. It is so crucial because on Steam, a lot of your the pages and the widgets that you show up on are localized. So if you're not in that language, like you won't show up on the sales charts of Germany or something like that. So it's very crucial that you localize your games.
Just one follow-up. Can you put a little dividing line between localizing the product page versus localizing the actual game you play? Like I'm sure it comes down to budget and what people can afford. Like could you maybe talk about, hey, always localize your product page, but when it comes to the game, maybe you should do this or that? Or are you saying go all in or don't?
No, I would definitely start with the Steam page.
Yeah.
And Steam will know, and you can set whether your game is translated or the page. And then Steam has a standardized pop-up that is on the page. If you see a language, or if your store page is translated, but you haven't indicated that the game is translated, Steam automatically does that.
Got it.
And so I would recommend that as a start if you're on a tight budget. And what you can do is also you can monitor, you can go into the back end. It's not very clear. I don't love how they present it, but you can see how many wishlists you are getting by language.
Sure.
And then you might be able to just go off of that. So if you see Japan as like the #1 wishlister outside of English, then you know, I got to do Japanese.
I see, because you can pull that data beforehand.
Exactly.
Got it. All right, let's keep rolling. Oh, man. All right, so this one hurts, but let's be real. It's 2026. Should indie devs be investing in booths at trade shows and conventions like PAX, Comic-Con, and I'm sorry to say, the Game Developers Conference? I mean, we're sitting here in person. Any data on that kind of stuff? Like, what kind of investment versus return should folks look for? Should we do this?
No, don't do it. I have no qualms. I've written about this before. Do not get a booth. I mean, maybe if you were like, you live next door to GDC.
Sure.
And it's just like I walk over and I get in there. But I really do not think showcasing at a physical show is worth it. And one thing that a lot of devs will tell me is they're like, but I like to get feedback on my game. And I was like, buddy, you can just go to the library, open up your laptop, pull somebody aside and say like, hey, you want to play this game? I'll give you a chocolate bar.
Yeah.
And then your outlay is just a pile of chocolate bars and the time sitting there.
Sure.
And it's going to be much better. Or you go to a subreddit and you say, I need play testing. And then you play side by side, like you hook up a Discord and you can watch their screen as they play. So much better feedback that you're going to get than on a live show. You don't have to stand up the whole time. You don't have to do all this stuff. I have no qualms telling people do not do a physical show.
Okay, and I guess maybe a caveat being if you live next door to PAX East, maybe, sure, if you're not spending any money, if the booth is free.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like some company or some countries will actually have a fund where they'll pay for they'll pay for the booth with tax dollars. We could go into whether that's a good use of taxpayer money.
Sure.
But if you get funding for it, sure. But I just don't think it's worth the time. Even then, I'm like, I don't know if it's worth the time to take away from development to stand in front of a booth.
I got you. I understand. Interesting. Well, I appreciate the honesty here. We're at a physical event. Here we go.
It's fun just to hang out and have caviar with you. But,
I know, right?
But other than that, no.
Roger that. Could you touch briefly on regional pricing? There seems to be a lot of disagreement online about whether to customize it yourself per country or just let Steam do it.
I don't know on this one. I haven't done like the deep research. I know a lot of people go back and
maybe
forth.
Incoming website posts from you. Did I inspire you?
No.
You told me no. That's okay.
I don't, because I'm not an economist, and I feel like when you start messing with currencies, you got to basically be an economist.
Yeah.
And I kind of trust Valve on this one. There might be some big backlash that you get, but I wouldn't mess with it. My advice is don't mess with it.
Your economy is Wishlists, I'm guessing. Those are your dollars. Okay, this one also might be a bit dicey, but here we go. Can you speak on what an indie game should cost? I'm sure there are a ton of varying factors. Should it ever be based on length or number of hours? Is there a magic number, a magic price range? I tend to see the $14.99 amount thrown around a lot.
This one is very localized to your genre, the quality of your game, and that sort of thing. There's no one number. So what I would recommend, this is what I recommend people do, is go on like SteamDB or some of the sites that I like are VG Insights or Game Discover Co.
Sure.
And research your genre. And hopefully, if you're a game dev, you should be playing all the games that have recently released in your genre in any way.
Mm-hmm.
And you should be honest with yourself of where you stack up. Like, I know we shouldn't say hours, but is your game longer or shorter than this other game? Is the quality better or less? And be honest, like, are the graphics just not there? And rank yourself in there and then do kind of a spreadsheet work of just see, like, what are the prices of the games kind of in your neighborhood of what you are? And then I say, take that, whatever the average of the prices in that section are, and then add 20% on top of that, because your game only sells when it's on sale. That's just a fact of Steam. And we need to be pushing the numbers up. I've done the math on this one, and I've seen that the price that indies set their game is actually going down despite inflation. So we should be bumping up our prices. Now, the reason I say do the genre research of the games in your neighborhood is like friend slop games, those kind of like multiplayer fun games, they're like $5. So you can't say, well, I'm going to up my prices. I'm going to be $14.99 when all the other games in your neighborhood are that price. You really have to match the expectations of your genre and your quality.
That's a great answer. Here we go. Another hard-hitting one for you. This is fun. I'm having a good time. The number one buzzword for devs is wish lists or wish listing. Can we debunk and maybe talk out some aspects of wish lists? Like the wish list debates on Reddit are exhausting, and a lot of folks have a lot of throwaway data. So let's go rapid fire here. Typical conversion rate from wish list to sales, is it genre dependent, or you inform me?
It's based on how good your game is. So if your game is good, we're talking 15, 20% conversion rate. If your game underperforms, if people just don't like the game,
sure,
it goes real fast. So you'll be like 0.5%, 5%, somewhere in that range for games that are just underperforming. So that's kind of what my expectation is.
All right. Is the quality, quote unquote, of a wish list click dependent on the wish lister's region, tier 1, tier 2 countries, etc.? Like, should you value an American wish list over perhaps a tier 3 economy country, etc.?
No, well, part of it is you can't really control that too much. So it doesn't matter that. The main thing that I have seen, here's the main thing about wish list quality, is it really comes down to where you got the wish list. If you paid for ads, the wish list quality is very bad. So you can't, like, if you advertised and you're counting your wish list there and you're like, well, they're going to convert it like 10 to 15%. They will not. I mean, I don't know. Ad wish lists do very poorly.
Now, do you mean ad wish lists do poorly? You mean wide sweeping or dependent on country?
No, wide sweeping. Like,
okay.
I do not recommend buying ads. Well, I mean, you can buy ads if your game's already doing well.
Sure.
But if you're like, our game's just not getting any wish lists, well, let's crank up the ad machine and we'll buy them. It just won't work.
Yeah, it's more of a modifier rather than like
it's a multiplier.
Yeah,
I like to say. So no, I it's not so much country. It's where you get them. And the big differentiator is if your wish lists come from paid ads. That's where I see people get shocked. They're like, oh my God, they converted so poorly.
Got it. Interesting. What's the biggest difference you see in games that convert a higher percentage of wish lists into games that don't? You kind of mentioned it's really game quality. Any other tidbits?
Yeah, it's got to be fun. So people don't. This is my main advice for indies. Don't make a bad game that's not fun. I highly...
Don't go for 2.
Don't go bad. Make a game that is fun and it is really good. I highly recommend it, just in case you're thinking otherwise.
That's funny. Yeah, make a game that's bad and it's miserable. Yeah,
don't do that.
No,
don't do that. Don't make it bad and miserable. No, it really is. And here's the thing, folks. I mean, this is the biggest thing for indies. Your first games are going to suck. They just will, and you just got to get through it. And your first few games are going to suck. They will, and they're going to convert poorly, and people are going to yell at you for things you didn't know was a thing that you had to do. And once you get through that, your games are going to get better, and your conversion rates are going to go up, and that's just the nature of it.
Good answer. All right, next, let's skip the obvious cookie cutter or maybe rookie moves that indies fall into. It's like, yeah, you need a complete Steam page with a trailer. You need promo images. What should the trailer have? We'll skip that stuff. I want to know the under-the-radar strategies that indie devs should take advantage of. What do folks neglect that is less than obvious?
Yeah, and I'm giving a talk about some of these things, but you should have DLC at day one that is supporter pack. You should have a supporter pack DLC, and this can be very simple. It's like you turn your main character gold, like he's just got a gold texture, or he's wearing a crown, or something like that. You get a banner that's really cool. That's it. And there's a certain population, and I've done analysis. It's somewhere between 5 and 11% of people who buy your game will go, sure, why not? This developer looks cool. I'll just give him a little tip. It basically acts as a tip jar, and it's like depending on how popular your game is, like I said, 10%, 5 to 10% will just give you just a little extra money, and it's awesome. It's just like free money. Like you shouldn't spend a long time on the support pack. Again, like it's a gold texture. Just make your main character gold, and it's like free money. So do that. Also bundle with other devs, and both of these should be ready by day one when you launch your game, because most people buy your game on day one. So that maximizes if 5 to 10% buy this extra bit of DLC. That maximizes when you do it at launch.
Got you. Actually, there's something I'm interested in that I skipped in the line of questioning here that we're gonna go back to real quick. Does Valve push games into a highly anticipated or certain categories based on wish list numbers? Any kind of algorithm gaming folks can do?
No. This is where it kind of gets a little. There's nuance here. What happens is if you get about 7,000 wishlists before launch, and that's an approximate because it's based on how many other games are launching next to you, but it's right around 5,000 to 7,000 wishlists. When you go to launch, you will show up in a section called Popular Upcoming, and that is what I say is that's the minimum thing that Valve will give in indie. That's the first step in the ladder of visibility. Is that minimum thing? There is so that is the only really that I'm off the top of my head wishlist dependent thing. I mean, there is here's another one. There's something called the discovery queue, and I've done research on this, and I found that if you get about 3,000 wish lists in a couple days, like 2 or 3 days, which usually means a content creator played your game, they will throw your game in something called the discovery queue. And it's rare. It's kind of rare to get this. That is a visibility tool, and you'll get a ton of wish lists secondary from that sort of thing. So they're not highly anticipated. That's not what I would call quote unquote highly anticipated. They're just little widgets that show you based on the wish list you get. Everything else other than those two is based off of the number of concurrent players that you have and the number of dollars that you are earning, not conversion rate. A lot of people mix this up. It is pure the number of dollars hitting the Valve system.
Sure.
So those are the big ones. That's how the algorithm reacts to a highly anticipated game.
Gotcha. Interesting. All right. So I know your content is mostly geared towards Steam data, but I'm curious about consoles versus Steam. Is there any reason for an indie developer not to publish on console if they have the time and money and resources? Why would a developer choose to only release on Steam? Should all indie devs strive for simultaneous release? Does genre matter? Can you speak on this at all?
Yeah, I think if you were just starting out, keep it simple. The biggest problem that you have is you're not very good at making games. I don't think, even though your heart's in the right spot, you're just not good at making games. And so you should just focus. I just say focus on Steam until you kind of figure out how the marketplace works, like how to make a game. And so what you want to do is just get that done. And see, the problem is like some people will make a game that just doesn't do very well.
Sure.
And then they'll say, well, I'll try and make it on consoles. Consoles in my, just kind of back of the napkin math that I'm talking to devs, it's usually about 25 to 30% of what you make on Steam is what you're going to make on consoles.
Interesting. So
if you make nothing on console, let's say you make 10 grand, 15 grand on Steam, you're looking at maybe 5 grand on consoles.
Sure.
And that's a lot of work to get that,
Sure.
polished and up there. So my advice is unless your game makes about $150,000 within the first 6 months on Steam, it is not worth it to move over to consoles. And I don't recommend that you do simul launch. Just learn what you learn on Steam, and if it does well, then you can port it to consoles later.
Okay.
But I just don't. I think you're just going to stress yourself out, and you just got to focus on making games, and getting good at it.
So that was really the specific question I had. Like, it's the value of simultaneous release versus having 2 touch points, I guess.
No.
Got it. All right. Here's another just be real with us kind of moment. Like, do reviews on major gaming sites matter? Your IGNs, your GameSpots of the world. I have a feeling that lead up and preview are more valuable, but you tell me. And we're in the press room, which is hilarious.
Yeah,
so.
I know. In general, the press doesn't. The press doesn't matter.
Yeah.
In general, so there's a couple exceptions. You didn't mention it, but PC gaming does very well for previews. PC Gaming magazine, they do well. Well, not the magazine, the physical magazine, but the like website. And stuff.
I got it.
GameSpot and IGN. IGN is good for trailers. They'll host your trailer very well. That's a good boost when you announce your Steam page.
But you're still talking preview. You're not talking review.
Review, it doesn't matter.
Got it.
And usually, well, here's the thing: is if we were to do a statistical analysis, see, the problem is reviews, games websites, they usually only review your game after it's a hit.
Yeah.
And so if you tried to do analysis, well, this game got reviewed in it. Look at how well it does. But that doesn't.
It's backwards.
It's backwards. Nobody's reviewing the bad games.
Okay, next. Any data on popular or award-winning games from 2025 that our audience may find interesting? Example, Expedition 33 or The Blueprints. Expedition 33 seemed to catch fire out of nowhere, but out of nowhere may be false. In your view, did those games have all the right pieces for success? And as a follow-up, any games that perhaps flew under the radar that did well that you'd like to mention?
Yeah, I mean, those games, Blueprints, Expedition 33, those are like mega games. Expedition 33 was a pretty well-funded studio. It's not like somewhere low.
Sure.
Blueprints is made by like one guy. But I mean, what I do is I study all the games that released and reached a supportable level of success. And here's something that a lot of devs, if you're thinking of making a game, I find that devs don't notice all the little tiny games that are coming out that actually do very, very well for developers. And I recommend don't play these. These I consider mega sellers. These aren't like the little cute indies or something like under the radar hidden gems. Like there are some, like if you like narrative ones, like The Seance of Blake Manor. Have you heard of that game? How about Rue Valley?
No.
Wednesdays? Yeah.
No.
There are so many little tiny games that come out, idle games. Do you guys play idle games at all?
No, we don't.
Play the idle games. I mean, there are so many genres. Do you play horror games?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like Clover Pit.
Oh, yeah. I'm for
Dice and Daggers, I think is what it's called, is another great one. There are so many games. They don't reach the levels of Expedition 33 or the Blueprints, but they are the types of games that I recommend indies actually play and study. A lot of strategy games. Some of my favorite ones. Have you seen Super Adventure Kingdom?
No.
Oh, man.
Interesting.
City builders.
Got you.
The real games that do well on Steam are not these kind of narrative, like where you're a third-person character. It's a lot of strategy games, idle games, horror games, simulation games where you're like building a base, or you are like pretending you manage a grocery store or something.
Sure.
So I really recommend devs, and this is what I write about on my blog, are these types of genres that are more popular. They're able to do well on Steam, but most people don't actually know them. It's not until you dive deep into the numbers. So that's what I'd recommend.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You know, this is not a question I had prepared, but it just kind of came in my brain because we've been talking genre a little bit more than I anticipated. You have any fast and fun facts about RPGs, turn-based versus action? Do they do well on Steam? Audience versus other genres?
Yeah. So, okay, I'm now speaking to not players, but I'm talking to developers. I don't recommend they make RPGs. Even if you love RPGs, you know everything about them.
I'm so curious.
Because RPG players want so much content. And if you're a first-time dev trying to make an RPG really is like 5 games smashed together.
Yes.
You have a narrative. You've got, usually your combat is some form of tactical, timing-based thing, or if it's a action RPG, you've got some action thing. There's an open world that you're exploring, so you got this open world aspect of it. There's just so much that you've crammed together that it is like a mega genre. So even if you love RPGs, what I recommend to indies is think very hard. What do you actually like about the RPG? Do you like the narrative? Do you like the tactical combat aspect? Do you like the world, like the actual physical world? Whatever it is, there is a genre that does well on Steam that is just that. So like those genres that I was just like Blake Manor and stuff, if you really love the narrative of RPGs, just make a kind of narrative game like that where it's almost a visual novel. You can do some other things, but I don't recommend making RPGs for an indie. And it's not because they're not popular. RPGs are very popular on Steam of all types.
Sure.
Real-time, action RPG, turn-based. even RPG Maker
You're
games.
saying
can
it's
do very
not
well.
from a marketing angle, it's from a how hard it is to make angle?
Exactly. You
Yeah.
will kill yourself as a dev trying to make an RPG. So baby steps, and then you can make your RPG.
I was going to hit you with a dagger. Okay, explain away Undertale.
I know, but that guy, well, no, here it is. No, I will.
Yeah.
The guy started as a localizer. Wasn't he localizing, what is it, Mother 3 type of games and stuff?
Mhm.
And every time somebody's like, well, what about this game? It turns out that dev had a long history.
Of experience,
And
sure.
so what his history was
Sure.
when he was before he made Undertale, he was writing narratives
Sure.
as a localizer, and I think he did other things. So every time you think a game comes out that's huge,
Yeah.
the press never reports their little humble beginnings. And so indies
Sure.
always try and make the game that is that guy's like decades of work.
Sure.
Please, everybody watching, listening, put down your caviar.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. Always look at the history of the dev. And they've always started out in the dirtiest, smallest community that nobody knew about for like a decade. And then they came out and did well. So
Gotcha.
So you got to look at the history.
Interesting. I love that answer. Very passionate.
I know. Well,
answer there.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Devs always try and make the hit game.
Yeah.
And you can't. Usually the hit game that you see, these games are from people who have been doing this for years.
Mhm.
You have to study the small games that do like, kind of okay.
Sure.
But that's your first baby step. And then you make bigger games.
So here we go. We're marching towards the end here. Let's do some fun stuff to close us out. What games do you like as a player? Take off your marketing hat. What do you like in terms of your taste? What do you like playing?
I like to play right now. I've been playing a lot of Peak. I really love playing Peak.
Oh, sure.
Have you played that?
Yes, I met those dudes as well. Very nice. Very nice
no,
team.
it's a really fun game. I like that. Also, survival style games like Minecraft. I know it sounds basic, but
Sure.
those are fun games to play with the kids and stuff. So yeah, survival style games like Minecraft and Subnautica, and then also Peak. Those are just great.
What's a game you love that you think is underappreciated? A game that more people should play?
Okay, so this one I alluded to real quickly, but Super Fantasy Kingdom, I actually got the name wrong. I just wanted to make it. It's not as good greatest name. It doesn't roll off the tongue as well, but Super Fantasy Kingdom. What a lot of devs like to make tower defense games, and they ask me, "Tower defense are good games?" And I'm like, "Yes, they really are." But they've kind of evolved, and Super Fantasy Kingdom is exactly where I'm saying they're evolving. So it's like a tower defense game, but you switch between day and night. And then this is the new generation of tower defense games where you build up your village, and then the resources from building up your village fund your towers, which are these heroes that protect your thing. So if you are a game dev, these are the types of games that do well on Steam. More of these building games where you're like building a village. It's not you. There's no one character that you're playing at, like Expedition 33 or the Blueprints. It is like you build a village. And I think that is an important genre. And these type of games is what more devs should play. And a great entry point is Super Fantasy Kingdom. I think you can get it off Xbox Pass or buy it on Steam. Either one.
Gotcha.
Highly recommend you try these type of games.
What's your video game pet peeve? Mechanics, things you don't like, drives you nuts?
Story.
What? Don't say that. No way.
Yeah, I don't like story in video games.
Mr. Anti-RPG, Mr. Anti-Story over here.
Yeah, well, hey, I did say narrative games are very good. I did say that. I can appreciate them from afar. I just don't
Not
like
your thing.
I'm like, get on with it. I want to be in control. If I'm going to want a narrative, I'm just going to read a book. I get that narrative out of my games.
Yeah, not your thing.
Give me flavor. I like flavor. I like theme. I like the vibe. But just blah, 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 blah.
You don't want to read a book.
I don't. If I want to read a book, I'm going to read a book.
Got you. All right, we've come to the end. Dude, this has been a really fun one. However, it is tradition on Goddamn Gamecube that the guest intros the show. So if you would be so kind, if you could intro the show, please.
Hey, everybody. I'm Chris Zukowski, the creator of How to Market a Game, and you're listening to Goddamn Gamecube.
Thanks so much, Chris. It was really fun.